Okay, today we're going to start our background for our cave art project. After you've watched the video about the caves of Lascaux and how they were discovered, we're going to start with a rectangular sheet of paper and we're going to paint the whole paper with water. You want to paint the whole paper with water first so that the paint flows and blends nicely and so that it doesn't look streaky. This is called wet on wet watercolor painting. So as soon as I get it all covered in water, then I'm going to start to add some watercolor. You want to use only warm colors when you're doing this. So you're going to take some water and make sure your watercolors are wet first. And you're going to paint them in with a horizontal brush stroke. Okay? So that, the background will look kind of like the layers of the earth on the cave wall. So then I'm going to add a little bit of red. You only want to use warm colors because it'll make your background look really nice and bright and beautiful. If you mix cool colors with the warm colors, it will turn like brown and muddy. That's called chromatic gray. You don't want to use cool colors for this project. It will not look good. You want your colors to be nice and saturated and bright for this. Then when you use black charcoal to draw the animals on, it'll look even better. Okay, so you just want to have some nice horizontal brush strokes, cover the entire paper so that it looks really pretty. And one thing that you could note is when this dries, it'll be a little bit lighter. So the brighter the better when you're doing your paint. You want to make it really bright because it's going to dry slightly lighter because you put the water on the background. Okay, so once you have the whole background covered, then you want to let it dry. And that is the end of step one. As soon as this is dry, I'll come back and we will start step two, drawing the cave animals on our background. All right, so now that you have your background complete and it's dry, it's time to draw the cave animals. I would recommend having some images pulled up on your tablet or printed out to use as reference material. I always have reference material for my students when they are working on something like this. Another thing you need to think about is the composition or layout of your design. I recommend that children do at least 3 to 4 animals on their picture. So maybe one on the side, one in the middle, and one on the other side, or you can have 2 in the middle and 2 on each side. It's up to them, but you don't want to have them all on one side or all on the other or just all in the middle and really small. You want to fill up the paper and make it beautiful. So I'm going to use crayon for this. Normally in a classroom I would use charcoal. My thought is probably most people don't have charcoal at home, but everybody has crayons. So I'm going to show you the best way to do this with crayon. The first thing I'm going to draw is the deer. I like to draw the deer on this side and have his body going off the edge. So I'm going to draw kind of a line like that and have the deer's body go off the edge. And then I'm going to have his antlers come up really big. And I'm copying the lines and shapes I see in my reference material. Some of the areas are really dark and some of the areas have shading. None of it has to be perfect or exact. Cave art is an easy thing to draw, which is why this is one of my first projects of the year every year with my 6th grade students. On this part, I'm going to go from dark to light and add a little bit of shading or value so that you can see all the nice watercolor painting showing through. It's a little bit easier to do this with charcoal because you can blend it with your finger. You want to make sure it's very smooth. And then you just color a little bit lightly. Then you'll have a really nice picture of a deer. All right, the next animal I'm going to do is a horse. So I'm just going to draw, and these are the cave animals, so they are supposed to look a little bit unrealistic. You don't want to draw a perfect cartoony horse. You want to draw kind of the cave look of the horse. And you can leave some parts of it just kind of fading into the background. You don't have to draw all the arms and legs if you don't want to, but you can. It's really up to you how you want to do it. In cave art, the horses a lot of times have just really little legs. So we're just going to draw little legs to make them look like the cave art legs. All right, now this one in my picture has a little bit of brown shading, but I'm just going to kind of shade in a little black. I like to keep it just with the black since we have the background color showing through. All right, now another one, one of the easiest ones you can do are the goat. So I'm going to do a goat here. And I think his legs kind of like that. And then I'm going to do the bird-headed man right here. He kind of has a head that looks like a bird. And there's a lot of things you can look up and learn about this scene right here, about the bird-headed man, and he's being attacked by a rhinoceros, I think. Something that looks like a rhinoceros. And then he has another little bird down here, kind of on a stick. So I'll add a little bit of shading on him. Eye on that little bird there. And you can add more, you can add less, it's up to you however you want to finish this off. You could add a little bit more darkness to make it pop to certain areas. And as soon as you have it, as many animals as you want to add, your drawing is complete. Thank you for joining me and learning how to do cave art like all my 6th graders do. And I will be putting another one up as soon as I can. Thanks.